hold the Prince. The chase is on for Mead. What about the pickup? Have you ever seen a try like that? David Mead, you aren't a football player. You're some sort of magician.
Yeah, it was. It was at Cronulla Shark Park, wasn't it?
I'll never forget.
Outstanding. 240 first-class games, PNG representative as well. David Mead is joining us on Sportsday to talk about the PNG bid. There's a big announcement today with the new chairman as well. And we want to ask him some questions to dispel some theories and get a better education about his home country. How are you, Davey?
Meady, how are you?
Hey, so that's right. I'm good, thanks, guys. Yeah, thanks for having me on. Dispelling theories. I don't know if I'm no scientist, but I'll try my best.
Nice.
So, big news today with the slowly but surely just starting to build the team in PNG, which is 2028. It's expected, but the naming of Ray Dibb as the chairman. How significant was that to get that named so early?
Yeah, mate, I think there was an announcement this morning with PM of Landis, Pat Conroy and CEO Andrew Hill, just letting the NRL community know who the board is. It's obviously very serious having well-experienced people looking after this team. So, they've appointed 7 board members. Don't ask me anyone's background because, I'm kind of a sideline spectator seeing how this NRL bid has unfolded. So, I've been told that they are very smart people, very well educated. They've been around for a long time and they know what they're doing. So, the club's going to be in good hands.
Well, we know one of their backgrounds, Marcus Bile, like a PNG legend. But I love the fact, Meady, that they've got Marcus sitting on the board, and I know that if they asked you, I certainly know you'd put your hand up to be there and help, given your background. How as much as the board and stuff was announced today, Meady, how far away, or did they mention anything about high performance centre, like living quarters, all that sort of stuff being built? Have they made any firm decisions yet, or is that still in the works?
No, mate, that's still in the works. It's still a bit hush-hush at the moment. And like I said, I'm kind of on the sideline hearing what's happening here and there. So anything I say wouldn't be straight up facts. But the appointment of Marcus Spy, I think, is huge for rugby league in PNG. I think we've got a group WhatsApp chat there with the old Kummels boys, and that's going off. Everyone's happy that he's been appointed. Yeah. Just having someone of Marcus's stature in there, he knows what the players need. Yeah. He's been there, done it all, and also culturally having someone who's grown up in a local place of West New Britain, someone who made it to the NRL the hardest way possible. To be in there, you literally got someone who's in there who a PNG kid strives to be like at that board level, which I think is huge.
Yeah. Now, mate, you grew up in a village. First 12 years of your life, you lived in a village. What impact this NRL team going up to PNG? What impact can this NRL team have on the young kids that are living in villages in and around Port Moresby and around the country, for that matter? What impact can this team have on those kids in those villages?
Yeah, well, Rat and Sats, I think you guys have seen, footage, or whether here in person, the drives from the airport to the hotel or whatever the engagement is. You see kids on the side of the road playing footy everywhere, barefoot, on gravel, on grass, sand, whatever it is. They've either got a football in their hands, or they've got an empty, cordial bottle or Coke bottle or something in their hands, replicating a footy. So rugby league, it's a huge sport over here, but alongside that, there's a lot of kids getting in trouble as well. Where those kids who are playing sport, they're finding that way to stay out of trouble. And for me, growing up in a village, all the kids, we're naming ourselves after Steve Ranoff at the time. There's a few Shane Webkes and Petro Sivanasiva, Matty Rogers, Scott Sattlers. There, every kid is naming themselves after these players. So, it's when people say it's a religion up here, I honestly say it really is like one. So having a team here in PNG, as a kid growing up in the village, it is a dream. It's kind of there, but, the support of the family is kind of like, yeah, righto, mate, that's a good one. But when you have a team right there in your backyard, I think that conversation suddenly changes for the kids who have the dream to play NRL. I think there's going to be a lot more support for these kids. The conversation around the country about playing NRL becomes more real. And then, to be honest, let's face it, only 1% or less are going to make it. I think what's going to happen with the 99%. That's going to be the real impact.
Yeah.
They're going to learn to be better people on and off the field. They're going to live healthy lifestyles, and hopefully the majority of them can stay out of trouble as well.
Yeah, well said, well said. Now, I remember calling a player in the Queensland Cup with the Hunters. His name was Moses Meninga. I'm pretty sure his last name would have been after Mel. Yeah. Hey,
well.
Go on, Sats.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, so Dave, I want to sort of get a bit of an education for our listeners about your home country as well. So, if I'm a team based in Sydney and I want to fly to Port Moresby and I'm a player, what's the flight time?
Mate, you're from Sydney. I'm sure they'll put a direct flight in there. Be 3.5 hours max. So, kind of similar to what the Warriors are experiencing. Yep. From Sydney there, Melbourne obviously a bit longer. From Brisbane, mate, 2 hours, 40 minutes you're here. So I don't think that travel will be too much of an issue. We're on the same timeline. So in terms of travel and how long it takes to get there, no worries at all.
Okay. Now, there's this major concern around this, a theory around safety and security. So if these players and their families are living in, and I don't like using the word compound, but the living conditions they're going to be living in, would they be okay, these families, if they want to, just leave
for a coffee,
go for a coffee or whatever it may be?
Mate, I'll say this, I'm going to be biased, but I think they will be the safest people in PNG. They're going to be looked after. People are going to admire them. They're going to, they're going to be household names over here, even before playing NRL. In terms of movement, there's a couple of rough sports around Port Moresby. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. That's definitely true. But everyone's going to be well informed where to go, where not to go. But in terms of living experience, it's going to be quite unique. And I think any player who takes that opportunity, these are going to be the best memories that they create for life post NRL. And I really believe that.
Matey, I like the way that you've explained that, because you're right. There are probably some rough areas, but
everywhere.
That's everywhere. I mean, when we came to the Titans, Matey, we weren't allowed to cross the highway and go into Cavalab. Like that was like you just can't go there.
That's right.
And that worked fine for us, didn't it?
Yes, it did. I think it did most of the time. I'm sure we still found our way there a couple of times here and there without Cardi's knowledge, but I think I guess it's true. It's like everywhere, but the lifestyle is very different. I think probably for me, from a player's perspective, it's the challenge will be going to the local supermarket, trying to get bread and milk, do your groceries, and normally in Australia it's going to take you half an hour. Over here, it could take you a lot longer because everyone wants to stop and have a chat to you.
Yeah,
I think that's the type of admiration that the players will have, and I think that's going to be the biggest challenge. As long as you come here with an open mind and accept that people are going to want a photo and shake your hand everywhere you go, I think you'll be fine.
Okay. Now, what about the National Stadium? I think it's still called the National Stadium, isn't it? Which will be the home ground, I'm thinking.
Well, I don't think they've decided yet, Sats.
Okay.
They haven't quite 100% that's going to be where we're going to play. Is that right, Meady?
Well, I think they're looking at that initially because it's already an established stadium. The Hunters are playing there. It holds 15,000. They may put a few more seats there to accommodate for an NRL team, but they are looking at good facilities, good high performance centres. That's certainly in the works. The Minister, Pat Conroy, he actually mentioned that in a meeting today. So I think those are definitely in the plans. But initially, to kick off the NRL, those guys will be based where the Hunters are playing out of at the moment.
Is there a short list about who could possibly coach the PNG side in its inaugural year?
Mate, you would know just as much as I do. So whatever you see on the headlines, that's as much as I know. But I think whoever they appoint will probably have to be an experienced coach in terms of someone who's been in the game a fair bit and understands at least a little bit about the culture as well. And then so I couldn't really tell you if there's a short list, but I've seen that Wayne's name get tossed up over in headlines there.
Wayne tossed that.
I know Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if he did. But he knows PNG players quite well. Whether they have a crack at Bellamy, because he had some his earliest experiences of PNG being part of a 2000 World Cup. There's some good stories about him here as well with Marcus By's connection as well. So I think they're going to do their homework really well before they appoint someone.
Okay, so if it was given the responsibility to David Mead to name the PNG NRL side, what's it going to be called? Like Gold Coast Titans, Parramatta Eels? What would be your selection? What would be your choice?
Mate.
Can they run with the Hunters, Meady? Can they follow on because the Hunters are going to be the feeder club, right?
Yeah.
Well, I think they should.
Yeah.
I love the PNG Hunters as a name.
Yeah, well, I think, it's kind of like the Dolphins, right? Already an established area there. It's known as Redcliffe. I don't see why they wouldn't go that way. I'm definitely with you on that, Rat. The Hunters is there. It's a established brand already. Build on that and go from there. So, to be honest, I haven't really given the name too much thought.
Meady,
I've heard, parrots pop up. I don't think I'm a fan of parrots. I like the birds, but the name doesn't really suit that, I think.
The PNG Birds of Paradise.
Yeah.
Mate, pathways. Meady, pathways are going to be imperative to the future success of the team. You can't just, you don't want to have to be continually buying players, but can you let the listeners know how passionate their fan base is and how excited young boys are going to be? It's a monumental feat that PNG are getting this side, but the pathways are going to be imperative. But I believe literally in 5 years' time from establishment, I don't think you'll be needing players to come up there because you could be able to produce them yourself if you've got the pathways in place.
Yeah, I agree, right? I think, it's obviously every NRL team's got their pathways established, and they have for, many years, decades, even. What the NRL bid did was over the past few years, they had actually Joey Grimer up here from the Parramatta who did their pathways program there. So He's been here for a few years. He's implemented those pathways, particularly for the later teenagers who have actually gone on to play. They played the junior Kangaroos, last year, and they were leading most of the game and ended up drawing right on full time. So, that's only a few years of, proper training in quotation marks under someone who's had NRL pathways experience. You can only imagine when a team of, these NRL development officers coming over here, helping to build on those pathway systems. And, like you said, in 3 to 5 years' time, I think we're going to see some really good talent being developed and, hopefully kept here in PNG.
Yep.
I have no doubt that the PNG, the club itself, is going to have trouble keeping their local talent here because NRL teams are definitely going to poach them for sure over the next couple of years.
Yeah. Well, it's exciting times for the National Rugby League. Exciting times, especially for the Papua New Guinea public, the rugby league fans, yourself, David Mead. I know you're going to be very excited as well. Hey, thank you very much, mate, for taking time out to educate all of us a little bit about the country you're so proud of. Thank you very much, mate.
On your Meady.
Yeah. Thanks, Sats. Thanks, Rat. Appreciate it, mate.
Thanks for watching. For more great content, subscribe to SEN League, your home of the greatest game of all.